Well, here we are, folks. It is Tuesday, the 16th of March. Month is half over. So here we are. We're here in Beaver, PA, sitting, talking to you, hoping to change your life. I'm Tom Young, and this is about money shifts and Facebook Live. So when we talk today, remember, I don't know whether you caught my radio show today, but I was on WBBP, WMBA, 12:30 a.m. and 1570 a.m. on the dial in Beaver Valley, 9330 on the FM dial. And it is exciting because I think I blew the roof off of the radio show today with some of the information toward the end. And I'm going to share some of that with you today. That as we start every presentation, we throw out and offer our heartfelt prayers for everyone who is impacted by COVID in some way. Somehow, I believe everybody in the world has now been impacted in some very crazy way to what's going on. So I don't know. I'm just trying to rearrange my screen here a little bit so I can see what's going on. So as we offer our prayers to everybody affected by COVID, we also offer our prayers for those who have lost loved ones during this period of time. We also offer our prayers for those who have been lost, that the Lord above would open his arms and gather them into his kingdom above. With that being said, we'll move on. And really, Psycho-Cybernetics, this is the thinking book of all thinking books. I talked to a gentleman Sunday in church who listens to my podcast, and he's already read the book. He said it was fabulous. He loves what I'm doing. He has 2 engineering degrees, and he loves what I do. My purpose, Tom Young, is to change your life. Open the door to things that you don't see now. Open the door to opportunity that are there before you, but for some reason you can't see them. Part of Psycho-Cybernetics, and the biggest part of what I'm talking about, is about self-image, self-fulfillment, in finding our true way on this highway, this road called life. A preview next month, the book we're going to do next month is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Unbelievable book. It is millions of copies in print. It is one of the most read books around, and it's been in print for quite a long time. I believe more than 20 years. And it's still out there, still relevant as anything else. So as we sit here today and talk about it, the 3 pieces that I want to talk about today is acquiring goals for self-fulfillment. X marks the spot for inner resolution. An adventure in lifelong youth. Now, what do I mean by that? You know, when I look at the book, and it works in anagrams, I really like that. This area starts out relaxation for you. And we already talked about requirements for relaxation, enjoyment, and looking for leisure. Today's acquiring goals for self-fulfillment. Let's talk about that in a minute. Now, what do I mean by that? Self-fulfillment. If I want to reach maximum self-actualization, I want to find the best me that I can be. I want to become the best me that I can be. That is what goal setting and self-fulfillment is about. You know, I have to learn how to set goals. You know, in all the books that we've talked about, I have talked about that. That is a primary space that you have to be in. You have to learn how to set goals. And initially you set small goals. You have to work in to setting goals. Because if you set unrealistic goals and the action plan is intense and exceptional in size, you're going to struggle along the way. So if you've not done this before, I want you to start small, little goals for the day. Think about things that you want to do today that is productive. Set a goal to get something done. And as you accomplish these little goals in the beginning, now they'll lead to larger goals, but you need to get some successes under your belt, because the result of that is you start to self-actualize and you find some self-fulfillment. You learn how to like the person looking back in the mirror. I've talked on this about for the last 3 months in all the books. This is the #1 key ingredient to becoming the best you can become is self-fulfillment, self-actualization, becoming what you were meant to be. We have to focus on that. We have to think about that. Because when you were born, the moment you were born, a problem was solved. Which in other terms means you are here for a purpose. And if you haven't found it yet, you need to search diligently, persistently, and think about every day of your life. You should have a journal, a tablet or something, and every day write in that journal the story of your journey. It isn't just sitting down and, oh, woe is me, I didn't get this done today, and oh, woe is me, I didn't get that done today. In everything that happens, there is a seed of equal opportunity, the yin and the yang. So self-fulfillment starts to happen when you have these little successes, and little successes in the beginning will become bigger successes as time goes on. It will build your self-confidence, and in that it will grow your self-fulfillment, and it will help you find that ultimate goal, that ultimate thing, your purpose here on earth. You must find it. And if you don't stop looking for it, because if you stop looking for it, what does that become? It is the opposite of self-fulfillment. It is emptying yourself out for no reason. Depression, losing your way, feeling stuck, and finding yourself being sucked into the feelings of an acceptable level of mediocrity. And you were not designed for that. You were designed for greatness in your life. That's why we're talking about this stuff. X marks the spot for inner resolution. What is that? X marks the spot for inner revolution, not resolution, I'm sorry, revolution. You have to have an inner revolution with yourself, a fire burning in your belly, raising you up to become the person you were meant to be. It's like a battle inside. We all have, and I remember along the way, I have the good angel on this shoulder and the dark angel over here. And when things confront me, I got them both chirping in my ear. Oh, you ought to do this and this. No, you don't want to do that. No, no. You want to do this. No, you want to do that. You don't want to do that. And you have to deal with that. You have to accept that there is a revolution opportunity in your mind, and X marks the spot. The third one of this one is adventure in lifelong youth. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm 71 years old, and I don't think old. Granted, we all grow older, but getting old is a state of mind that you want to avoid. Yeah, I have more aches and pains now, maybe, than I had before. I don't remember. When I was 38 years old, I weighed 285 pounds. I was a big fat slob. And I lived a lifestyle of that big fat slob. I couldn't stop eating. I didn't exercise. I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I was on the bullet train to hell to kill myself with the lifestyle that I was living at that time. My mom passed away in September of '86. And you know, my mom was everything. I have 2 brothers, but they were both 8 and 9 years older than me. There would have been 2 sisters even older, but they were born in birth. They were twin girls. They were born at birth, so I didn't know them. Dorsey and Dolores, that was their names. But here we are, figuring out where to go. I want to think youth. I have a lot that I have laid out in front of me and my goals and plans to accomplish. The biggest goal I have is touching 1 million lives before I die with this information that you must hear. Even if it's nothing else but for you to say yes or no, you need to hear about this information because it is not being shared in the marketplace. You know, we're almost time out today, and I will be back at noon tomorrow, but I did some research last night. I know we've talked about this in the past, but I wanted to regurgitate this to let you know and to re-emphasize how important it is to have a goal and be going somewhere. You know, we've talked about this in the past, the usdebtclock.org, usdebtclock.org. And I was on there last night, and the national debt is right now 28 trillion, 55 billion and some change. I mean, compared to trillions, millions is change. Per citizen, it was $84,941, and per taxpayer, it was $223,893. So that's the mortgage that is on every taxpayer in America, put there by our wonderful politicians that aren't accountable for anything. They have no discipline to control the spending. Just like this $1.9 trillion bill passed, only 9% of it went for COVID. The rest of it was givebacks to crony states and crony politicians that did the Democrats favor. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. The total revenue of the federal government in the last 12 months was $3,472 billion. They actually spent, you got this? $7,993 billion. $7,993 billion. That was $4,521 billion above what they collected. So that was added to the debt. The debt to GDP, gross domestic product, and this is a number they talk about all the time. In 1960, the debt was 53% of the GDP. Now it's 129.8%. You get that? 129.8% of the total GDP of the federal government, of the US. Now let's go to the unfunded liability. Unfunded liability is Social Security, Medicare Part A, B, and D, and pensions for military, full-time, and government employees. That is now 159.799 trillion. In January of 2017, it had just reached 101 trillion. So in 4 years, it went up by more than 50%. Currently, it is per citizen $483,866. I guess if you add that to the $223,893, that takes to $708,000 per taxpayer. Hey, folks, how do you feel about that mortgage? That's on you. That's on your children. That's on your grandchildren. And you know what? It's not going down. It's going up every day. They're not making any payments. They haven't stopped spending money. They need to tighten their belt, just like you and I would have to if we were in this position. Well, what's this position, how it relates to you or I? Let me share that with you. So if the revenue was 3.472 trillion, let's say take some zeros off and make it $34,720 was your annual income last year. But you managed to spend 79,930. Your income was 34,720. You spent 79,930. Now, how many years in a row do you think you could do that? I don't know. Per citizen, 483. Per taxpayer is $1,307,000 in addition to the $223,000. So now we're at $1,530,000 leveraged against our future. And you hear on the news that they're trying to bankrupt America, so we will accept socialism. That's what this is all about, folks. The one world government, the new world order, and the one world bank, all the way to the Rothschilds. The central bank in America, known as the Federal Reserve, is what I call and refer to as the banking cartel. But they are part of the one world bank. I mean, where do you think they get this money? They just print it from nothing and loan it out. You and I print money, they're going to put us in jail a long time. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. I have some more I'll talk about tomorrow about derivatives and why the banks crashed in 2008 and who was really at fault when that happened. Get my new book, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project. You can get it at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all the big booksellers have it. Or you can go to cfo-project.com, put in your email address. Let me get it out here. You put in your email address. There it is. cfo-project.com. Put in your email address. You will instantly get a link and be able to download onto your cell phone or your computer my new book, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project. You can go here, and there's a free book over here. Go here and check in, and you can get Life Insurance Will It Pay When I Die is also a free book that you can obtain visiting my website. There is a tremendous amount of education on that website. My purpose is to provide mathematically correct, verifiable information so that you have the knowledge you need to make good decisions for your financial future. You're going to need to manage things differently going forward because the big storm is growing. And eventually that storm is going to come at all of us. Are you ready? Do you know what you have to do to be ready? To be able to survive what's coming and help your children and your grandchildren survive at the same time. With that, I will say goodbye for today. See you tomorrow.